Odegaard has given it away to Gibbs White. Awane's made a move out to his right, Danilo to his left. It's Awane! It's 1-0! Arsenal's pain is Nottingham Forest's pleasure. Manchester City are champions of England. Coronation year. Manchester City, the kings of English football again.
But as Pep Guardiola said, the Premier League is the most important trophy. Not just this season, but for many, many years.
Greetings, mortals. I will make this quick. I, conqueror of thousands, hereby demand the complete and total supplication to my command. Submit and receive. Mercy. Resist. And only give. Let our journey to total domination begin. Total domination. Total domination. Total domination.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 81 of fpl-bros. Me, Kojo.
And me, Derek.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I thought you were going to introduce me. You left me hanging there.
Well, yeah, sorry, my bad. Anyway, it's all good. What we are going to bring to you now is just a very quick review of the FPL season just gone. Even though lots and lots has happened, we're going to try and condense it, aren't we?
Yeah, we definitely will do. We've got a lot to go through, but we'll breeze through it.
Yeah.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Just wanted to say that I ended the season on, I think, about 139k, which is actually my best finish for a while. Wasn't the top 100k, but still, I'll take it, because I think last year I was like at 117. The season before I was like 260,000. So
yeah, I finished very badly, around 630k, just under.
Oh.
But you know, it is what it is, and hopefully I do better next season.
Yeah, there's always the next season. And I just want to quickly say, if anybody's interested, my score was 65 with a -4, so it was 61, and really just down to the fact that I captained Kane. And the reason I did that is because I was going to captain Salah, but then I heard that Klopp was thinking about major rotation, and I thought that might even include Salah. Although I don't blame people for captaining Salah, because I think he really should have gotten a goal in that game.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah, but that was basically my last day of the season. I kept Fernandes as well, and I think he got like 7 points. And yeah, that's mainly why part of the reason I had a fairly decent score, I think, to end with.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Okay then.
Can I have a rant about who I've got a bone to pick with before we start?
Go on then. Let's hear it.
Edison, why you do me like this? Why? Seriously, why? The amount of times I expected a clean sheet and this imbecile conceded.
I feel like we go through this every season. Right? The thing is, and I know it's obvious to say this actually, but Man City don't let people shoot on their goal very often. But when they do, they normally concede, and that's what you have to live with. But then there was also the benchings, which must have been hurt quite a bit.
Mate, I benched Raya over Edison from week 33, and there was only one game in which Edison scored more points than Raya, and in that game, he only scored 1 more point than Raya.
Oh, man.
I'm fuming. Every other game, Raya scored more points than Edison.
Yeah. No, and again, I don't want to talk for having the benefit of hindsight too much, because to be honest, I was worried about not having Man City's defence for a lot of the last 5 or 6 games of the season. That I'm bound to get punished for it. You know, I was thinking, is there any way I could get Stones in or Diaz? But I think I got away with it, frankly, because there was just so much rotation and so little effort on the part of City to clean sheet. I think ever since Cancelo left, I just really didn't think about the Man City defence. And by the time I got to thinking about it, I didn't want to lose Trent. But again, it's easy to say that now the season's done. But trust me, for a long time, not having City defence had me sweating every single week. It really, yeah, honestly.
All right.
Yeah.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Highlights of the season.
Highlights, personally for me, was the 7-0 Man U win. Personally for me, that was one of my highlights. In terms of fantasy football highlights, one of my main highlights was taking a risk. The week which I triple captain Salah.
Oh, right.
Paid off really well because it was between Salah and Haaland, and I got 54 points with Salah triple captain, which was slightly more than Haaland would have got if I triple captained him. So that was another highlight. Pitfalls, one of them already mentioned, Edison. Second pitfall for me personally was not bringing Jota in when he was in form. I missed out on a few points.
Yeah, with Jota, I just was too scared of him not playing and being benched.
Yeah, I know.
But
what about you?
Though? Okay, well, highlights. Even though I'm not Jamie, actually, I'm going to combine this. I honestly thought the way that Arsenal came back against Bournemouth really, really impressive. You know, and sometimes people look at that match and they think, is this the moment when they became champions? But it wasn't to be. And the other reason I like that game is because I had Ben White and he scored and he got 7 points. And everybody else had like Ramsdale or Gabriel or Saliba or whoever was at left back that day. And they conceded 2 goals. Most of them ended that game on 0 or 1 point. And I thought, oh God. And I saw Ben White got a goal. I thought, yeah. So yeah, that was certainly one for me.
Amazing.
The lowlights, to coin a phrase, was me captaining Salah when everybody else captained Haaland at the beginning of the season. And see, the thing is, like, it's one thing for Haaland to get more points than Salah, but to get that many more points than him, I just thought was really unfair. And I think the one that really killed my season in terms of, I suppose, finishing in the top 100k was when Man City went to Manchester United and won 6-3, and Haaland got a hat-trick, I think, that day. And I think he had like 21 points or something like that. And I remember thinking at the time, well, Man United aren't having a great season, but it looks to me like Ten Hag have got the defence sorted out. You know, Man United is still a big team. They still got expensive players. Still got expensive defenders. You know, they're not going to let Man City turn them over. No way.
Yeah, no way.
No way. That was just ridiculous. You know, there's no big scores coming for any Man City players in that game. You know, yeah, sure, if they were playing Bournemouth or something, but no, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I thought people who captained Haaland in that game were being really brave. It just turned out that, you know, it was just the thing to do, basically. Don't even think about it. So that's how I would sum that up.
Fair enough.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Each position, if you need time to think, you can pass it back to me. Starting with forward, then to mid, then to defence, then to keeper. Give me your top players and why.
Okay, I will start with forward, and I could easily say Haaland.
Yeah, agreed.
Because everybody is or has done. So what I'm going to say is, and despite the fact that I picked Isak over this guy, I'm going to say Wilson. For somebody who didn't start a lot of games, for him to like come away with like 26 points in a double game week, like you've got to sit up and take notice. And for a long time, the talk was like, oh, Wilson's got a bad injury record, and Eddie Howe doesn't want to start him with Isak, all the rest of it. Still, for people who picked Wilson, well done to you, and well done to people who captained them as well.
I'm surprised you said Wilson. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, I understand the fact that he came back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have thought you'd say Kane or Tony.
Well, it was close. I may well have said Kane, to be honest with you. But again, it's not entirely unexpected that he would do well in any given season, though, is it?
30 goals. That's record breaking for him.
It is record breaking for him, but he's Kane. We know that he can do it. And then
What about Tony?
Tony, I'm a bit bitter because he trolled me a couple of times this season, and so and I just think that whole betting thing as well just leaves sort of a bad taste in the mouth. Really. But no, 20 goals for somebody who's not in a top six club, still pretty good. He's an excellent penalty taker, apart from the one he missed, obviously. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay, midfield. Midfield. You know what? I mean, again, there's a lot of usual suspects. People are going to talk about the Brighton three: March, Matoma, McAllister, Salah. But again, he's like Kane. He can do it. Kevin De Bruyne, although Kevin De Bruyne is good, he's really good. But when he's bad, he's completely anonymous. And I think people kind of overlook that a little bit for him. But anyway, I mean, he was like 12 million this season. I don't think he was quite worth that much. But anyway, let me get to the point. I'm going to go with Rashi.
I'll give you that. Even though I wouldn't really class him as a midfield. I mean, for fantasy's sake, I'll let you get away with that.
Fantasy class as a midfielder, I'm going to go with midfielder. And after the World Cup, and even during the World Cup, he was just amazing. And I think
Martinelli deserves an honorary mention.
Does 100%. It's only 6 million at the beginning of the season. And there I was with Saka in my team, but he just kept going and going and going, and and then we thought he was going to get rotated with the ESR, and that didn't happen. Then we thought he was going to get rotated with Nketiah, and that didn't happen. Even when he got bench once for Trossard, he came off bench and he scored. So one person who's starting to fulfill his potential, which we don't see an awful lot these days.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Defense. I might have to go obvious with this one.
It's the obvious one. Come on, you can't get it wrong.
I'm going to say Trippier. And,
he deserves it.
Part of the reason for that is that even though I wasn't super quick to get on him, I think I was still quick enough because I just thought I need to have somebody from Newcastle, and I don't like any of the other defenders from any of the other teams. So it's Trips for me, basically. And even though I think part of the reason I picked him is because he put in so many crosses. Like he was just crossing like his life depended on it, basically. He was crossing like a coach load of nuns on the cliff edge. Cross all the time. So Trips for me definitely, because with the amount of crosses he was putting in, it was just a matter of time you get an attacking return. And in goal, who am I going to go for in goal? I did think about this. I'm going to have to pass it to you for this one.
All right. So goal is a really tough one, and it's not one I would have actually expected. But actually, I'm going to give it to De Gea.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I want to give it to De Gea is not because he got the most amount of clean sheets in the season. It's actually because he actually saved Man United a number of times. If it wasn't for De Gea and Rashford, I don't think United would be where they are.
No.
And there's some games I watched and I was literally screaming, going, "How? So yeah, I mean, he deserves it, but I do need to mention also Raya from Brentford. I think, especially at the start of the season, he was amazing and he had so many saves. So can't knock Raya. Very close, but ultimately it didn't matter because they didn't make any European competitions and United did. So I think De Gea deserves it.
No. Okay, this has got nothing to do with FPL, but I'm going to say Pickford purely because he was probably the difference between Everton staying up and getting relegated. He's had the past. People talk about his time wasting. It's legendary. But honestly, he still knows how to make a save, and he did it at the right moments for Everton. And the magnitude of what he did, I think, for them to still be up after all this time, that makes him stand out to me. Raya, obviously, not honourable mention. I just lost my train of thought with goalkeepers, particularly.
Yeah.
Thing is, most of the season I had Kepper in there, but I ain't going to talk about him. I only had him as a
Nah. Kepa was just a cheapie. That's why.
yeah, I know exactly. So I can't really say anybody else.
One thing I will say about Pickford is he makes the big saves. He makes those diving, magnificent looking saves, but he doesn't really get tested with a lot of little saves, does he? Do you know what I mean?
No, I think I do. And it's probably because of the Everton defense is so bad,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it has
maybe.
been a while. So sometimes that's when you see a real goalkeeper's value. Did you talk about your defender at all?
I agreed with you.
Oh, okay.
Trips. It has to be Trips.
Yeah.
100% has to be Trips. Although some of the other defenders offered more value from Newcastle, like what's his name? Was it Shah? Share?
Share. Yeah, but I apparently he only scored one goal all season.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, forget
He,
that.
he was regularly heading the ball in from set pieces and taking shots. I read somewhere, I was just as shocked as you were, that he only scored one goal. And I think it may even have been the first game of the season, one of the first couple of games of the season. That was the only time he scored, and that was it.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Thoughts for next season? What would you do differently?
What would I do differently? Again, I thought I had this down, but you've completely lost my train of thought again. I'm trying not to be too different. As you may have noticed, I normally start the season really badly, especially the first game week. I've made some terrible
Yeah.
decisions past, but then by the second wild card, I know what I'm doing, and then the end is a lot stronger. And of course, it helps with the double game weeks and the chips and all the rest of it. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I make a lot out of that. So what am I going to do differently? I don't know. I think maybe I'll try not to overthink things too much at the beginning of the season, because I know it's not going to make a difference anyway. And
Yeah.
maybe just I'm still going to stay with the tried and tested players, even though Salah did give me a tough time beginning of the season, because I'm sure, like a lot of people who are engaged in FPL, we've all realised how good Kane was over the season. But one stat I read, apparently he did not blank for 2 game weeks in a row the whole season.
Really?
And yeah, that is the kind
Wow.
of form of someone you have to keep in your team. Of course, you know, there was.
I mean, at one point, didn't Kane only have 1 goal or something ridiculous?
Yeah, it's true, but he was still getting the assists, I think. So, you know, if it wasn't a goal, it was an assist. But when he blanked, and the following game week he didn't blank.
No, but I mean, imagine he's gone from 1 goal to 30, and you've had him. Like that's a win.
What do you mean he went from 1 goal to 30?
So
at one point,
at one point he only had 1 goal.
Well, what, like for a number of weeks?
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yeah. No, you're right. At that sort of price, you do start to get itchy. You get itchy finger fingers.
Yeah, you do.
1 goal. No, I'm not having it. Yeah, but exactly. I see what you mean. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, but again, these are the kind of decisions hopefully I will be more sensible about. How about you next season?
So one thing I'll definitely not do is doubt Haaland's ability and bring in Nunez instead of Haaland at the start of the season. That really, really hurt my rank at the beginning.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And the second thing will probably be to invest in cheaper midfields and go for the strikers that I know will get the goals. Because if you look at the stats this season, the most goals scored were by strikers. I know mid's got some. Like I think the highest scoring midfielder was
Salah, wasn't it?
Rashdadi.
Oh, well, in terms of goals.
Goals. Sorry, the highest. The midfielder which scored the most goals, and I'm not talking about assists, I'm talking about goals, was Rashford, and that was 17. And then you've got Kane with like 30, Haaland with 36, and then even Watkins got quite a high amount. Tony got like 15. So what I'll do is I'll invest more in the forwards because they're going to score me the goals, And then obviously I'll invest in midfield, but I'm not going to spend a lot of money in the midfielders because you can still get like really good value for money. Like we said with your Martinellis and stuff, just got to catch them when they're in form, right?
That's right.
I'll probably do that differently.
Your points, yeah, goals get your points. The bonus, 5 points for midfielder, 6 for
exactly.
defender.
Goals
sort of out for that. No, definitely.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Just really briefly before we shut this off, because we're coming up to 20 minutes now. Again, I said I went back to what we were saying at the beginning of the season. So don't feel too harsh about Nunez, because there was a lot of talk about that guy at the beginning of the season. Yeah, and don't forget he scored in the Community Shield, and I think he scored. He may even have scored on the first day as well. But he just looked good. He looked like a good buy. And you know what's also fun? A lot of people were talking about Pedro Neto at the beginning of the season.
Oh God, I remember that. I remember that conversation.
And a lot of people were talking about Leon Bailey at the beginning of the season.
Oh God, I can't believe I had Bailey in my team. What happened to Coutinho?
So, there was a lot of talk about how to fit him into your squad. So, sometimes it's about reacting quickly. And again, I'm not saying this to embarrass you, and I'll prove it by going first. In October, I did ask you for your predictions, and I made some as well. I said top 4 would be Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and one of Spurs and Newcastle. But I also said I was adamant that Forest were going down. I was like, no, they're done. And I also said that Leeds were going down, but then I also said Bournemouth were going down. So again,
what did
even
I
in
say?
October, you said top 4 was Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea.
What am I thinking? What?
And I remember actually saying at the time, I said, I think Potter needs time at Chelsea, but probably not going to get it. And yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, this is a conversation for another pod. But yeah, you also said Forest, Leeds, and Bournemouth to go down. So, things change. Things change. It's how you can react and adapt to change.
Although I will say, I think Chelsea will compete next year.
Well, because they did so badly this year, we might get their place for cheap next year.
Yeah, honestly, Chelsea top 4 next year. Honestly, watch.
Top 4 for Chelsea. I can see it because there are a lot of decent players in there.
Yeah, they just need to do a bit of an exodus and get rid of all the bench warmers.
Already, João Felix is on his way out, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they need a striker, don't they?
They're gonna get who can they get? Lukaku. soon to be European champion.
Oh yeah. Imagine that. He was sauntering there with his Champions League medal.
You're all about to witness a monumental throwdown.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, not just for today's pod, but for the whole season as well. And I really appreciate you making the time and everything. It's very much appreciated. Thank you to everyone who's been listening all season. Also, thank you to our subscribers. We've got subscribers, and I want to thank each and every one of you who subscribe to our channel. Spread the word because we need to get more subscribers, and it's good stuff. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell everybody. And it's been a great season. Lots of crazy things happening with Newcastle and 7-0 and Brighton and just lots of madness to keep things interesting. Arsenal holding on for so long and relegation battle coming down to the last day of the season. Utter madness. But that's why we love football. Yeah. Okay then. So everybody, till the start of the next FPL season, keep a lookout for our first pod for the 23-24 season, and we will catch you all again soon. Goodbye.